Good morning and welcome to Happy Trails Hiking. Actually, I guess I should say good day to everyone because this is a worldwide broadcast today. Today is Travel Tuesday and I get to travel to Scotland. Well, I get to travel to Scotland every day because I watch my guest. He's a friend of mine and I love his channel. Always shows you something beautiful and most of the time something historic and really cool. So I enjoy watching Desmond Donders, and I hope that you will as well. One thing that I need you to do before we get started, because this is only a 30-minute show, and YouTube doesn't put out notifications very well. So if you can share this out, it will get people to come in and visit with Desmond and I, or David and I. And so if you'll share this out, that would be fantastic. My guest today, according to his About section, says, welcome to your one-stop spot for motorhoming in Scotland. Follow Desmond's adventures as we travel around Scotland and beyond in our motorhome. We bring you details of our park-ups and show you the surrounding area and even a little history of the area we visit. Plus, don't forget the wildlife and birds. With nature, history, wildlife, and the beautiful Scottish countryside, there's always something to see in the Monday and Friday videos. On Wednesday, I have my say on a wide-ranging subjects, including anecdotes from my days in the RAF. So his schedule is on Monday, they have a photo diary. On Wednesday, you get Wednesday wisdom. And on Friday, there's a video diary. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome David from Desmond's Donders. Thanks for being here, David.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show, Kay. It's good to be here.
Awesome. We have a wonderful room already. Oh my goodness, so many wonderful guests with us in the chat. And guys, if you have questions for David in the chat, please make sure you put at Happy Trails Hiking. And I will make sure that David gets those questions. All right, so the folks that we have in the room, I probably ought to just go. Usually there's not so many. So this is you're popular. But we have Alan Scammell, Alpine Gulch, Crafty Caravanners, you, Desmond Donders, Gemma's Journeys Grace, Hitch Up in Tow, whose name is Mark. I met him this morning on Twitter. Inspired John, Lori Bryant, Marty's Career Family Adventures, Meant to Be RVing, Our Haunted Travels Panic D, Outdoor Nomad, and Posh Cats Camping. It's wonderful to see everybody here today. So you're just really popular, Dave. Congratulations.
Well, thanks everybody for turning up. I'll have to be careful. Alan's here and he's from Edinburgh and he'll be keeping an eye out that I get everything right.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to make sure you get everything set up right. Okay. So my first question for you, and something that confused me when I met you, was your channel name is Desmond Donders and your name's David and your wife's name is not Desmond. So how did Desmond get his name? And might want to let our viewers know who Desmond is.
Desmond's the motorhome, or RV as America calls them. And Desmond got his name because his registration plate is Mike 222 MOD. Now the original owner put the plate on because her name was Margaret O'Donnell. But as soon as I saw it, I saw the M and the 3 2s. M and the first 2 made Mr. and the 2 2s made Mr. Tutu. And we all know Mr. Tutu is called Desmond. And the name stuck. It's a sad fact of life that most of our vehicles have names, quite often based on their registration plate. It's as simple as that.
Okay. I had never heard that story before. I was like, oh, there's just going to be this cute little, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's most of our cars and vehicles end up with a name. It's either the name of the vehicle, because of the vehicle. We had a Fiat Strada at one point. It was called Eric. Eric Strada. It's just as, it's as simple as that. Something strikes us about the vehicle and it ends up with a name. Yeah.
Well, our little RV trailer is called ALF, A-frame living facility. And so it had nothing to do with his plate or his registration, and it had to do with what he is. So I understand. And Outdoor Nomad said, "You call that a simple? It's simple as that?" Well, that's true. It was that was not as simple as that.
Telling it's not quite as simple as seeing the number plate there and going, there you go, there's a name.
There you go. Excellent. And Marty's Crew says that they used to name their vehicles too. Inspired John is here and says,
Yeah.
he has a name for his car, but he's not going to mention it here. So thanks for that, John. I appreciate that. All right. So my second question or point for you is, I was reviewing your channel this week, just kind of getting ready for the interview, and one of the things I like to do is go back and look at people's playlists, because I put things in a playlist that matter to me and are important and make sense. And so I really enjoyed your playlist from 2016. And my thought then was, oh my gosh, we've been YouTubing about the same amount of time. So what made you decide to start sharing your Donders on YouTube?
We had an accident.
Oh no.
I'd always thought about YouTube in this, and I always kept a diary from day one, from when we first started camping in a tent. I kept a diary of everywhere we went and what we did, what we got up to. And I kept it on paper, and the paper got wet. And so we moved from paper, we moved to online, or rather on the computer. And I had basically a spreadsheet, but when I was doing programming, I programmed an interface in Visual Basic to read the spreadsheet, so it read more like a database. And we had pictures that went with it, etc. And then we lost some of that data as well. So we had a big hole in the data, effectively, in our history. And I thought, well, I've sorted out a computer backup now. We've got slideshows we're doing. We had a VHS-C camera at the time, and we started. And I said, we should put these on YouTube, just as somewhere else to put them. And that's where we started. It's a bit ironic because you're looking at 2016, and that's when we first started with video. And we had the VHS-C, and we had I can't remember. It was Craig's camera, our son's camera, which did a little bit of video as well, like they all do these days. And we tried it, and it wasn't very good. And the VHS-C was. And the irony is that I've actually been redoing that video, not as part of Throwback Thursday, because it's too big for Throwback Thursday, but if you like, a Memory Monday as a fill-in video, because we can't go out dondering at the moment. So it's interesting that you've been looking at those videos and that playlist, and so have I this week.
Well, it's a wonderful playlist, and it was just really neat to look back at the difference between now and then, of course, because I've met you in the last couple of years, and it's just like, I'm like, wow, Dave's really gotten good in the last couple of years. Not that you were bad then, but you could tell that some of it wasn't as intentional as now.
But back then, the equipment wasn't good, as good, maybe. And I certainly didn't really know what I was doing. I was just throwing stuff together and that. And now it tends to be better. Although sometimes it looks as though it's been thrown together. I try to leave Wednesday with as little editing as possible. I like that to go, just the way I've said it.
Sure. Isn't that really hard though? Sometimes you're oh my God, that was awful.
Yeah. or just as you open your mouth to say something, the kids outside scream, or a car,
right? Or the birds or dogs or whatever, something's going on. Yeah. So the Poshcats is saying to Alan that they're both keeping an eye on you, by the way.
Yeah, that figures.
I did not put up my show sponsor banner today, but I have two now. Inspired John, thank you so much for supporting good content. And we try here at Happy Trails to do that. And I'm happy to have David on today for good content. And as well, our Haunted Travels is making sure that John's extra penny gets in there. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your support. For those of you who might have just stopped in, this is David from Desmond's Donders, and his video link or YouTube link are in the description, and I believe he's in the chat somewhere. So if you type at Desmond's Donders, you'll get a hold of him. And I wanted to mention your Facebook group as well. It's on Facebook under Desmond's Donders. Well,
yeah, I just said it's all under Desmond's Donders.
Yeah, and I think that you can, they can follow along. It's much more easy to follow along on Facebook, especially with the way notifications are working on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
But if you know, Dave's going to have a video out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'm sure on his Wednesday Wisdom, which used to be Wednesday Waffles, he would enjoy having you argue with him. Or
yes.
give him a little ribbing for whatever his wisdom is for the day. And Marty's Crew says, I love the combination of Dave's narrations and Lindsay's photos. Yes, your wife is beautiful.
Thank you, Marty. I can take a photograph and I can take video, but Lindsay just seems to have an eye for a picture, and she won't listen that she has got that eye for a picture and can take it. For me, I have to do all sorts of work on the picture to make it look reasonable. Lindsay can just pick up a camera, point it at something, and I don't have to change the composition or anything. It's just there.
Nice. Yes, I have an eye for photography. I think it's the theater training that I had and the balance stuff. But Matt does much better with all the settings and everything on the camera. So we kind of make a good team. And I think you and Lindsay make a great team that way as well. So I did want to say hello to the Ramblings of Bri. It is good to see you. Thank you for coming today.
Hello, Bri. Good to see you.
And let's see. My next question. All right. So after your accident and you started putting things on YouTube, did you know that you were going to cover, like, I'm going to talk about Scotland and this is what we're going to do on all of our trips?
Yeah.
Just because, well, I guess that was the motivation there, was to keep all of your trips, kind of like our Haunted Travels. They started keeping things in database because they wanted to keep up with what they've been doing. So kind of makes sense. So what is your favorite place, or do you have a favorite place that you have to go back to whenever you get a chance? And if yes, then why do you have to go back there?
I was asked this question just the other day, and it's kind of hard because at the moment, everywhere's my favorite place. Anywhere but here is my favorite place.
Me too.
But I like the series that we're putting out at the moment. The northern part of that is called Caithness, and then away to the west is Sutherland. And Caithness and Sutherland, up that area, they're my favourite parts of Scotland. And the reasoning behind it is it's the nearest we've got to true wilderness still in this country. It's just there's not many people. There's lots of wildlife. There's plenty of water. There's hills, there's mountains, and there's the coast and sea. It's got a bit of everything, and there's not a lot of people. The one thing it has got that is a disadvantage is the midges, which I did a video about. Alan's just mentioned a place called Glencoe.
Yes.
And that is an absolutely gorgeous place. It's a place where tourists go to a lot. It's a very touristy place, but it is, if you get there on the right day when there's not many people about and there's no, the atmosphere's right, you can see, it just screams Scotland at you. It is a lovely place.
Oh, wow.
It's yeah.
So that goes into my next question then. When I get to Scotland, what is the must-see place that I have to go first?
Yeah, you like walking, don't you? So
Oh, I like walking.
I would say the West Coast. That
Okay.
includes going up through Glencoe, Fort William, up through Ullapool, and up towards Cape Wrath. You can do Cape Wrath a couple of ways. You can drive up to Donders and get the boat and the bus across, and the bus takes you to the lighthouse. Or you can. There's a footpath from the southern end, which is a fair old walk, and you need to take your tent with you.
Gotcha.
So it's absolutely beautiful place.
Oh, amazing. Sounds wonderful. I do want to say hello to Why Not in Wyoming for stopping in and quick wave back at you. Good friend Pauline Newman is here and says hello.
Hello, Pauline.
Lottery of Life is here as well. Hi, Mike. It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in today. And Crafty Caravaner said this is a rather slick live chat. And I'm enjoying it as well, and thank you very, very much for being here. And Alan is agreeing with you. Says definitely up the West Coast, so that's cool. So this week you're covering castles.
It just happens to be sort of. It's become a castle week. We're up at Wick as part of the trip in March, and there's two castles there, and they're related. Their history is related. We went to Old Wick Castle first, and then up to Noss Head. And the castle at Noss Head was the main castle for the guy who eventually owned the one at Old Wick, and it fell into disuse because he had a bigger and better one up the coast.
Up the coast, yeah, that's fun. So castle tours. Why Not in Wyoming says castle tours. And the ones that I've seen you go to are ruins and relics of castles. But are there like castles that you can go in and tour that are still being used today?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't been to any of those yet. And I say yet because I come under constant pressure to go to them. There's any number. They're in the Aberdeenshire area, to the east of us. And of course, when I head out, I like to head north and west, or west and then north. But the Aberdeenshire area, I worked in that area for 15 years. So it has less appeal to me. But I think once we get out and about again, there'll be a few castles that way that we visit, and you see the inside of with with furniture and the in there. Yeah, awesome. It's there's of them.
Sorry to interrupt. I do want to say hello and thank you. Hello again, and thank you so much to Pauline Newman. She says, thank you for being a light in this crazy, dark world. And I try, and I'm just so honored that everyone is here and spending time with me, and honored that I have wonderful guests like David today. So thank you so much. And as Inspired John says, yes, we have a new show sponsor. So yes, thank you so much. And Hitch Up in Tow says, I'm still trying to visit Scotland. It was booked for this year. Oh, yeah. I hope that there would be some time that people could get over there in 2020. And I hope that you get out again and dondering soon in 2020. But as soon as it's reasonable for everyone to do that. So, yes. Yeah. Let's see. What was I going to say? I don't remember. But we'll go on to the next question. So I guess my next question is, Matt and I are pretty new to RVing and staying campers. And so far we've only stayed in Alf for like a week at a time total.
Yeah.
And do you have tips for getting along with the other person when you're in a very small spot. Because right now we have a nice huge house and a yard, and we've been here together for a month now. But when we go out and have just our truck and Alf to stay in, what are some of your coping skills for getting along with Lindsay the whole time?
I've done. It's kind of in the diaries on a Monday. You'll hear me say, and Lindsay went for a walk while I did this. There are times when we're away for the weekend where we do our own thing. Lindsay likes to walk. She likes to walk longer than I can walk because of my legs, but she likes to go off walking, and I like to wander down by rivers, and I use my amateur radio gear and things like that. So we find some time when we're away to go off and do our own thing, basically, if we can.
Gotcha. So you just kind of make it like normal life, and you say, okay, I'm going to do this thing here at camp or here in our home, and Lindsay goes off, or you do your own little thing and you're in your own little world. That makes sense.
Or in the evening, or if it's wet, Lindsay will read and I'll play radio, or I'll read and Lindsay will be doing something else. We take the time to have time, if you like, to do our own thing and not dependent on each other, and it seems to working. It's our 40th wedding anniversary, so or it will be soon, provided the lockdown doesn't put the kibosh on that.
Oh, well, you'll have an anniversary no matter what.
Well, yeah.
Crafty Caravaner says the visit to Oban is canceled for us. Oban, okay. You never know how to pronounce those vowels. And then Posh Camping says Scotland is beautiful and certainly worth a long journey from southern England. We're back in November. Fingers crossed. So yes, fingers crossed for that.
I hope we're out and about by then.
I hope you are too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it may be a different kind of being out, but maybe it won't change so much for us outdoors people.
I was going to say, I don't think it'll change that much for us. It'll be the people who are dependent on hotels and
right.
It'll be like being entertained. Whereas our entertainment, if we don't like it, we can move on. We don't like what we see out the window, we'll move to something else.
Right. And I was just thinking of my symphony stuff. Matt and I like to go to the symphony here in St. Louis. We have Emmy award-winning symphony, and so we like to go and listen, but probably will not be the year for the symphony for us. Why Not in Wyoming said just bought a drone to do the walking for him, and David has a drone, and I love your drone footage. So that's.
I love it. It's just I'm seeing places in a completely new way with the drone. Somewhere where I've been over and over again, you think, well, I can't film that and show them because I did that 6 months ago. So you think, well, if I can get the drone up, it's completely different for me. Never mind people viewing it on YouTube. It's a new angle, a new way of looking things. And it takes me back to when I used to be able to look at things that way all the time when I was flying with the Air Force.
In the Air Force, yeah. So for me, I'm afraid of heights. And I love drone footage because my feet are on the ground or I'm in my chair or whatever, and I know I'm safe. And so it's okay for me to look at drone footage and watch that. And I can feel tall. I'm not very tall, so I can feel tall. I love drone footage. Just love looking over, and it's just amazing. Everybody's saying happy anniversary. That's awesome.
It's not till August. We have a bit to go yet.
Okay, well, August. We'll make it. We'll wish you a happy anniversary again in August. How about that? And then Alan says the last castle I was in was Eileen Donan. That's
a beautiful location. Beautiful location. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's on the way to Skye. So if you were following the Glencoe up the West Coast route, you would pass there.
Gotcha. Very nice. And it's good looking down. So yes, he was talking about your drone footage. That's very, very cool. All right. So my last question is I've noticed over the years, and I've participated, so I know what it's all about. But if you'll tell me just a little bit about Throwback Thursday, let our audience know about what Throwback Thursday is and how they can participate in Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, well, particular Throwback Thursday was Mike Millen, who has the channel Chilling with Millen. It was his brainchild about a year and a half ago, and we've been going since easily a year and a half now. And the idea behind it is we take some old footage or a bit of something we might have already put on YouTube or we haven't put up because we didn't use it, and we re-edit it with our skill set of today rather than one when we maybe filmed it to start with. We re-edit it, remaster if you like, different music, a different edit on it, a bit more about it, and we play it once a month as part of a playlist. Mike normally holds it, but hosts it, but because Mike's having some tech problems at the moment, I've been hosting it recently. But you load the video on your own channel. Each participant gets the benefit of their video, and it plays on a playlist which everybody advertises who's in the playlist. People get to see it, and it's just a bit of publicity for your channel and other channels, of course, and a chance to use some old footage and put it out there once a month and show how far you've come, the changes you've made. And it's a great little thing. We had a good few last time. There's a hardened core who produce month after month, and others that come along and pop in and put up some footage. But it's great fun for anybody who likes editing to play with the old footage and see what you can make of it.
I've really enjoyed the couple of times that I've been in, and of course I watch them every month and just enjoy them so much. And it's neat to see. I mean, I like people, and most of the time your prior stuff, has people in it. It's about the story, and I love hearing about the stories that people have re-edited. Hey, we had snow, 20 years ago today or this month, and or hey, this was our rig before Desmond, and like that.
The video I put out as part of the challenge last Wednesday rather than part of Throwback Thursday was footage I was going to use for Throwback Thursday. It's never been on YouTube, and it's from 1993, 1994, and that was shot on a friend of ours' video recorder. We didn't have a video camera at the time.
Oh wow!
And yet it's an incredible bit of footage because he was heavily into his video, and it was a semi-professional bit of kit he had, albeit VHS tape. And there was hours of it, and I had to cut it down to about 4 minutes. And you're thinking, I can't use that. There's plenty of scope for more videos there.
There you go. Isn't that always the hardest part with editing? I can't use it. I've got a time frame, and I need to, we only watch so much. But anyway, yes. Alan says was ski 4 weeks ago in Fort Williams. I guess he was skiing in Fort William 4 weeks ago. That's cool.
Alan does the Munros in Scotland.
Okay.
He spends a lot of time in the hills, actually walking them, whereas I spend a lot of time looking at them.
Cool. Poshcats Camping says, you are so knowledgeable about Scotland. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Yes, I agree completely. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. And thank you so much for being on today. We've got a couple minutes left. What would you like to just share? This is your waffle time. Is there anything you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, Wednesday wisdom, as I try to call it, is a waffle. But it depends. The waffle really depends on me getting feedback from the audience, because something will trigger something, and I'll talk about it. Is the thing. And there's lots of negative I could talk about at the moment, but I don't want to do that. That's not what we're about.
Right.
On a Monday and a Friday, we show you Scotland. On Wednesday, yes, I'll occasionally have a rant, but it's supposedly all in good fun and for a laugh.
Yes.
I thought I'd switch that thing off.
Oh, well. So I do want to encourage folks to watch your video tomorrow that comes out, because it's a Q&A. And
Yeah.
so people are going to get to, hopefully they've already asked you questions, or these are your answers.
They've asked the questions. We've answered them. We got 5 questions in time, because I can't do it the normal way. Normally, I'd be doing Wednesday Waffle. I'd be filming about 5 o'clock today and editing it tonight, because that's one of the reasons I don't like a lot of edit. And then it'd be published, ready to go out tomorrow morning.
Sure.
But Lindsay's got to answer the questions, and she was going back to work, so we had to do it on Sunday. So we've got 5 questions.
Okay.
4 of which are about us, and one the guy asked as a joke. Mark will know, not this question, because it's not what he asked, but Mark was asking for questions a few weeks back, and I asked him a question from Monty Python, the airspeed velocity of a swallow, and we had a similar sort of question, and I let Lindsay answer that one.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Dave, thank you so much for coming on today. I love your channel, and I love seeing parts of the world that I don't get to see every day. And thank you so much for putting out great content for all of us. And
one little advert. It's not coming out for a while, but a lot of people have been asking to see where we live.
Okay.
I've recorded video and started editing. I don't expect it to go out until towards the end of May, though. But you'll be seeing where we live. And it's a place called Fochabers, and it's fun talking to people on the phone about where you live.
I bet. Yes, you got to be really precise with that. But anyway, let me finish out the show, and I'll be back with you. Don't leave.
No, I'll be here.
Okay. All right, guys, I need you to do 3 things for me. Like this video and share it out with folks that might want to find out about Desmond's Donders. And 2, make sure that you go down into the description, stop by, click on that link, stop by Desmond's Donders, subscribe to his channel, make sure that you leave a comment, tell him you saw him on Happy Trails Hiking. And 3, come back and leave a comment here when this is done, as well as go out today and live the life you love. And remember, you are not replaceable. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day.